CJ, you guys have gotten off to a great start in Northwest Conference play, 5-1. Let's go back and talk about non-conference. You guys played a really tough non-conference schedule. How has that prepared you for conference play?
I think the caliber of opponent that we played definitely helped us to adjust to conference play, and that we've seen a lot of staffs, number one and number two, from really good teams and teams that have gone deep into regionals and deep into conference tournaments. And so I think seeing those arms early on definitely set the standard for our caliber of play and where that needs to be and the team that we need to be to beat that guy. And I think it's definitely allowed us to make those adjustments to beat that guy and have that standard of play and that standard of excellence when we get into conference, when it kind of becomes even more so important. So, instead of seeing those back end arms early, we're seeing all region guys, all conference guys from those Texas conferences, and just being able to use that and use those games that we've played well against them as confidence boosters, and then also use those games that maybe we've scrapped and struggled a little bit to know that we can come back and we can respond and be resilient.
We had a lot of guys back from last year, but also you're working in quite a few new guys this year. Talk about how that's played out.
Yeah, it's been interesting because I think anytime you lose all conference guys that have started for 2 or 3 years here, you're definitely playing a little bit of mix and match, seeing where guys profile best, where guys fit. But it's a nice group and a nice mix of different athletic talents, but also different age groups where you get some of those young guys who you expect to come in and perform right away, but they're a little naive to the college game, and sometimes that benefits them. And schools in our conference have never seen them, so there's a little bit of art of surprise there. But also having veteran presence like Condre and Phelan and Tyler Bailey, those guys who've been around the block a couple times, they know what to expect, and they can help those freshmen, those sophomore players to know what's expected of them and what to expect from our opponents in conference.
Talk about the performance of the pitching staff so far.
Yeah.
A lot of different guys really coming through.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch, and I think it's from the beginning of the year, early spring, we knew that pitching depth was going to be a strength of ours, and being able to use guys like Brady and TJ Orchard and know that you can have them for a long relief appearance, but also have no qualms about starting those guys too when you need to midweek, or just using them in a variety of different roles because they are strike throwers and they're versatile and they're super competitive. So it's been fun because anytime we enter a game, we know that guys can fill multiple roles on the pitching staff, whether that's 1 inning or 5.
Last weekend, swept a team that came in ranked number 18 in the country. Terrific all-around performance, offensively, defensively, pitching-wise. Talk about the 3 games against George Fox.
Yeah. It's funny because it was just a lot of fun because it felt like as a coach you were sitting on a bucket and just watching baseball. I think that's the best part about it, is when the players are confident and they have their approach and they're sticking to it and they're trusting it, is really where you kind of go into cruise control. And I think we just saw that in all facets of the game, offensively on the mound and then defensively as well. We were pretty clean. So it was fun to watch us just work hard on an approach in those different position groups throughout practice. And then Saturday and Sunday basically felt like we were at practice again. But there was a little bit more of an air about us, a little bit more of a confidence about us, knowing that Fox had to travel 7 hours to get here, and usually we're on the other end of that. So using that home field advantage, but also knowing that we had a really, really incredible week of practice to prepare us for what we were going to see with George Fox. So it was just a ton of fun.
Coming up this weekend, you have the team that might be just as hot as Whitworth in the Northwest Conference at Pacific Lutheran. What do we know about the Lutes? What do we expect from this matchup?
Yeah, well, we know that they always like to beat us. They always come in with a chip on their shoulder, and we always get their best effort. So I think we're going to see they always pitch it well. They always have depth on the mound, and they also have a good, solid group of returning guys that hit in the middle of their order last year. So I think they've lost a couple guys, but they still have Goslin and Johnson and those guys that are really anchoring the middle of their order who can do damage if we let them. So we're expecting a team that's going to be talented and is going to compete and play us tough.